Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is TASAR Sultan and my program is BCom Honors. We are 4 group members and we are going to give presentation on a topic measure of dispersion. My other team members are Hassan, Amjad, FARWA, KANWAL and NAYAB, AZEEM. So let's start the presentation. First of all, what is dispersion? And what are the objectives of measuring dispersion? Dispersion refers to the variations of the items around an average. And the objectives or purpose of measuring dispersion are to determine the reliability of an average, to compare the variability of 2 or more series, and for facilitating the use of other statistical measures. The good qualities of a method of measure of dispersion should be: it must be easy to calculate and understand, it should be visually defined, it should be based on all observations, and it should not be too much affected by the fluctuations of observations. The methods of measuring dispersion are categorized into 2 categories: absolute dispersion and relative dispersion. Absolute dispersion is expressed in same units in which data is expressed. It includes 5 main methods of measuring dispersion, which will be later explained by my team members. They are range, variance, standard, quartile, and mean deviation. Relative dispersion is expressed in the form of ratio or percentages, and its example is coefficient of standard deviation. These methods will be explained by my team members in the next slides. Thank you very much.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most gracious. Assalamu alaikum. I am Hassan Amjad from BCom Honors Batch 8, and today I'll continue the presentation of measures of dispersion. The topic which I'll discuss are range, merits of range, its demerits, and the interquartile and quartile deviation. First of all comes range. It is the difference between the largest and the smallest value in a data. It is the simplest measure of dispersion. The formula for range is x max, which means the maximum value minus the x minimum value. So there is an example given, finding the range from the given values. The values are 13, 12, 19, 18, 17, 15, 13, 14 and 16. So first of all, we will find the maximum value in it, which is 19, and we will subtract the minimum value 12 from it. So 19 minus 12 is equal to 7, and 7 is our range. Then comes the merits of range. It is the simplest of the measure of dispersion. Range is easy to calculate. We can calculate it easily. It is easy to understand as its formula is also easy, so we can easily understand it. Then it's independent of change of origin. And then comes the demerits of range. It is based on 2 extreme observation, hence get affected by the fluctuation. A range is not a reliable measure of dispersion, and it's dependent on change of scale. So if the scale changes, the range will also change. Then comes interquartile and quartile deviation. In interquartile range, it is the difference between the upper quartile Q3 and the lower quartile Q1. So the formula will be Q is equal to Q3 minus Q1. Then comes quartile deviation. It is the half of the interquartile range. So we will take the half value of interquartile range. The formula will be 1/2, which means half, multiplied by Q3 minus Q1. And for finding the coefficient of quartile deviation, the formula will be Q is equal to Q3 minus Q1 into Q3 plus Q1. That's all from my side. Now NAYAB AZEEM will continue the presentation, and she will tell about the merits and demerits of quartile and so on. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is NAYAB. Today I'm gonna represent about quartile deviation and mean deviation. First of all, I am discuss about merits of quartile deviations. All the drawbacks of range are overcome by quartile deviation. It uses half of the data, independence of change of origin, the best measure of dispersion for open-end classifications. Demerits of quartile deviation: it ignores 50% of the data dependent on changes of scales, not are reliable measures of dispersions. Next, mean deviations: it is defined as average of absolute deviations taken from mean, median or mode. Mean deviation is equals summation x minus x bar over n. Next, merit of mean deviation based on all observations. It provides a minimum value when the deviations are taken from the median, independent of changes of origin. Demerits of mean deviations: not easily understandable. Its calculation is not easy and time consuming, dependent on the changes of scales. Ignorance of negative signs create artificiality and become useless for further mathematical treatment.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is FARWA KANWAL from Department BCom Honors. Today my presentation name is Measure of Dispersion. Today talk about the standard deviations. Standard deviations, merits and demerits, variance, coefficients of variance, arithmetic means, and standard deviations. It is defined as square root of arithmetic means of the squares of the deviations of the given values for their arithmetic means. Standard deviation is equal square root sigma x minus x bar over 2 over n. Merits of standard deviations: squaring the deviations overcomes the ignoring signs in mean deviation. Suitable for further treatment, the standard deviation is 0 if all the observations are constant, independent of change of original. Demerits of standard deviations: it is not easy to understand, it is not calculate, depend on the change of scale. Variance: it is defined as average of square deviations taken from mean. Sigma formula: sigma x minus x bar over 2 over square over n. Coefficients of variance: it is used in comparing the homogeneity, stability, uniformity consisting of two or more series. Higher the CV, less than the consistency. Coefficients of variance: standard deviations over means multiply 100. Thank you very much.